Pokemon VGC is full of moves and abilities that seem good on the surface, but that you rarely, if ever, see online or in tournaments. Today we are going to analyze one of those very moves and the top 5 Pokemon that have access to it. Stored Power is a special Psychic type move with only 20 base power. However, for every stat that a Pokemon increases, it gains an additional 20 base power up to a whopping 860. The stats that affect this base power are as the following: attack, special attack, defense, special defense, speed, accuracy, and evasion. Additionally, only positive stat boosts factor into the base total, so the infinite attack drops dished out by everyone's favorite feline wrestler can be almost completely ignored. So you may be asking yourself, with such massive damage potential, why don't I ever see it? I mean, there are more than 100 Pokemon with access to the move, so it seems like there should be at least one winner. Well, first off, it is a Psychic type move, so Dark types are automatically immune regardless of how many Omni boosts you are able to pull off. Second, the setup required to boost it over existing Psychic type moves can be difficult to achieve with most Pokemon, and the safer option is usually to use stronger moves that require minimal to no setup. Lastly, the prevalence of moves like Haze, Clear Smog, and Taunt can wipe out any boost you have managed to achieve, or keep you from setting up in the first place. However, there are some Pokemon that can thrive with Stored Power, even with its shortcomings, and single-handedly sweep an entire game. This is Far-Fetched Tactics, and here are the top 5 Pokemon I believe have the most potential to make Stored Power game-breaking. Opening up the list is one of the best Future Paradox forms, Iron Crown. With its Steel Psychic typing, it benefits both from Stab on Stored Power and immunity to Clear Smog, one of the biggest counters to Stored Power. On top of that, it has a healthy stat spread with a notable 122 special attack and 100 plus in both defenses. Pair that with a 30 to 50% boost on one of its already beefy stats from Quark Drive via Energy Booster or Electric Terrain, and you have the making of a Stored Power monster. Obviously, the greatest base stats in the world aren't enough to make a 20 base power move viable, so we need a way to start stacking boosts quickly. On its own, Iron Crown has access to moves like Iron Defense, Agility, Swords Dance, and Calm Mind, all of which give +2 boosts per turn. This is great, but +2 per turn isn't quite enough for a true Stored Power threat. The strategy that I think has the most potential for this mon, and a few others higher on the list, is to proc Weakness Policy via moves like Shadow Sneak or Fling. This will spike Iron Crown's damage to +2 for both attack and special attack, and a potential 5th boost if Fling was used with one of these berries. My recommendation would be to use a Ganlin, Patea, Apricot, Key, or Moringa berry to get the most out of the additional boost. If Iron Crown goes for one of its +2 boosts on the same turn, then it could find itself at +6 or 7 heading into turn 2. At this point, Stored Power would be hitting with 140 to 160 base power, with a minimum of +2 special attack boosting its damage even further. Next on the list is Drifblim, a Pokemon with very little usage in Scarlet and Violet VGC. Drifblim plays very similar to Iron Crown with its inherent bulk and decent special attack. However, with the ability Unburden and access to Minimize, I think Drifblim has even greater potential. If you have played Scarlet and Violet VGC any time since the pair of Smeargle and Alolan Muck was accessible, then you know how rage-inducing a boosted-up Pokemon with +6 evasion can be. And with Drifblim being the only Pokemon to have both Stored Power and Minimize, I think it has earned its place in the top 5. Just one use of Minimize reduces your opponent's accuracy by 40%, so everything that was 100% accurate drops down to 60%. If you can get to +6, your opponent will be dealing with a maximum hit chance of only 33%. This gives Drifblim plenty of time to continue setting up or ripping off Stored Powers. Drifblim also benefits greatly from the same Shadow Sneak or Fling strategy discussed previously with Iron Crown, but with one major advantage: the ability Unburden. Once Weakness Policy is used up, Drifblim instantly doubles its speed and can begin to outspeed almost anything. With only 52 speed investment, Unburdened Drifblim can outspeed a max speed Dragapult. The only downside is that the speed boost doesn't impact the base damage from Stored Power, since it does not count as a boost. But this still puts Drifblim into a great position for turn 2. Being at plus 6 or 7 boosts, with 2 of those ideally being in evasion, and the bonus of double speed, Drifblim is positioned to sweep. Drifblim also has access to Strength Sap, which heals you based on the opponent's attack stat and then reduces their attack by 1 stage. So not only does Drifblim have the potential to gain significant portions of health back against physical mons, it will also be receiving reduced damage going forward. Coming in at number 3, we have Dunsparce, a Pokemon that you may have never seen online. With the new Gen 9 Pokemon only experiencing a measly 0.05% usage rate according to Pikalytics, Dunsparce is in desperate need for help, and I think this may be exactly what it needs. Dunsparce has decent bulk and okay special attack, but where it really shines is with its hidden ability Rattled, an ability that seems awful at first glance, especially on Dunsparce. It gives +1 speed when hit with a bug, ghost, or dark type move, or when the Pokemon is impacted by Intimidate. None of the move types are super effective against Dunsparce, and he is even immune to ghost. So the odds that these get targeted into it are low to begin with. The saving grace here is that Intimidate also procs the speed boost, which can play out really well considering the numerous Intimidators in the format. But where Rattled really shines is when used with Beat Up. From one use of Beat Up, Dunsparce will go up +4 speed, which makes it faster than a max speed Dragapult so long as it has at least 24 base IVs in speed. No additional EV investment is required. Pair that with a Ghost Terra to block both potential fake outs, becoming immune to its only weakness, Fighting type, and open up the opportunity for weakness policy procs, and Dunsparce is positioned to sweep. Dunsparce also has access to great boosting moves like Coil, Calm Mind, and Amnesia to build up bulk and damage against whatever is needed given each opponent. Bringing it all together, Ghost Terra Rattled Dunsparce with weakness policy can end up at +10 to 11 on turn 1 if it is hit with Beat Up and uses Coil, Calm Mind, or Amnesia on itself. This makes Stored Power's base power an incredible 220 to 240. Which is nearly as much as Explosion. And the icing on the cake is that Dunsparce also has access to Body Press, so it's able to deal with any dark types that may show up. I think a great set would be Coil, Amnesia, Body Press, and Stored Power. At number 2, we have the Noodle Alien himself, Deoxys. Specifically Defense Form Deoxys for its incredible bulk and move pool. Coming in at an astounding 160 defense and special defense, Defense Form Deoxys is built to stay on the field. Pair this with the fact that it is one of the only Stored Power mons to have access to both Amnesia and Iron Defense, and you are ready to take on any team you face. Once again, you are going to want to take advantage of the weakness policy strategy discussed previously to really maximize the Stored Power potential. Gaining an instant +4 offensively on such a tanky Pokemon really pushes it over the edge into broken territory. If your opponent doesn't get it removed quickly, then it might be game over for them. But at only +6 to 7 boosts from turn 1, Defense Form Deoxys is not hitting as hard as the Dunsparce can on turn 2. However, its incredible bulk paired with Amnesia and Iron Defense means it will likely stick around longer and have more opportunity to get subsequent boosts. It also has access to the Fighting type move Drain Punch, so it won't get stalemated by dark types and can regain any HP it may have lost while setting up. I think a great set would be Amnesia, Iron Defense, Stored Power, and Drain Punch. Finally, the moment you have all been waiting for. It may come as a surprise, especially off the heels of Deoxys, but for my number 1 Stored Power Pokemon, I have a tie between Kanto Slowbro and Galarian Slowking. They have nearly identical stats, movesets, and abilities, so it didn't make sense to split them into 2 spots. Both are pretty tanky, with 95 HP and either 80 or 110 defense and special defense. Additionally, they both have the ability Oblivious, which keeps them from being affected by Attract, Taunt, or Intimidate. The most important aspect by far being that they have full immunity to Taunt. If they cannot be taunted, then they can continue to set up without any concern of being shut down. Both Kanto Slowbro and Galarian Slowking play very similar to Defense Form Deoxys, where they want to sit on the field bolstering their defenses until ready. However, they have one massive upgrade: Belly Drum. With Belly Drum, they can both go +6 turn 1 without the help from an ally, which frees them up for setting screens, setting Trick Room, or even providing fake out support. This freedom really opens up the options available in doubles format because you are not reliant on a beat up or shadow sneak that could get redirected. Add in a follow me support and you could nearly guarantee its success. My personal favorite is to go straight into Trick Room with DD female and then support via follow me or heal pulse to keep Slowbro or Slowking alive as long as possible. +6 boosted sword power on psychic terrain is nothing to scoff at either, boasting a whopping 182 power. Any defense boost you are able to achieve is just icing on the cake. My favorite moveset to use with these mons is Belly Drum, Amnesia, Iron Defense, and Stored Power. This may have an obvious flaw in that dark types would be completely untouchable, but that can be remedied with a strong fighting type in the back like Co-Star Flamigo. Co-Star Flamigo is built for stored power teams because it can instantly copy over any stats without needing to waste a turn with Psych Up or Baton Pass. But if that still feels too risky, then you can swap out one of the defensive boosts on Slowbro or Slowking for Drain Punch to ensure you always have coverage with the added bonus of self-healing. Then simply swap out Heal Pulse on DD female for either Light Screen or Reflect to maintain coverage on whichever defensive boost you chose to eliminate. Thank you everyone for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on which Pokemon deserve to be known as the top 5 stored power users. If you think I overlooked any Pokemon or simply got the order wrong, make sure to let me know in the comments below. This is only the first of many deep dives I plan on going into for underused moves, items, or abilities, and hope this video has convinced you to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future content. Lastly, as a follow-up to this video, I will be showcasing 1 or 2 of these Pokemon in Master Ranked VGC battles for my Gotta Catch 'em All challenge, where I try to earn a Master Ranked ribbon with every Pokemon available in Scarlet and Violet. But for now, I want to thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time.